out and about, here is a line that you can use that will virtually always make a woman smile. 2 caveats first, though. First, only say it if you mean it. And second, make sure you're gonna...
This is why... Sorry, I'm having trouble holding it together. This is... This is why you can't listen to dating advice from these 2022 female dating coaches. Oh my god. Only use it if you mean it. Only use it when you can have a conversation. Like it's like mommy speaking to the child, and you're the child. Like, do you want to assume this role? Okay. Let's
setting where you can have a conversation. This isn't going to work if she's walking the opposite direction down the street. All you have to say is, wow, you have a beautiful smile, and I couldn't not introduce myself.
Haha, so good, so great. Great job, Dating by Blaine. Terrible advice, by the way. You don't start an interaction in 2022 with a compliment. That's the easiest way to get friend-zoned. So, Blaine, terrible dating advice. And we'll slot you into the category of absolutely can't give guys advice for dating at all. So, guys, if you want to totally get railroaded into the friend zone by any girl you're ever going to meet, just subscribe to Dating by Blaine, alright? Alright. Okay, let's move on to this guy, Stefan Speaks, who has absolutely awful advice.
Red flag, so that's surprisingly toxic, is when he's too blunt.
Okay, this Stefan guy, his volume is like 0, so one sec. I'm just going to turn up my computer's volume so that we can actually hear something. One sec. This guy's volume is a disaster.
Alright? So now, let me give this quick disclaimer. Excuse my language, but I'm a recovering... Okay. I used to be that extremely blunt person. So I'm a recovered. Let me say that. I'm not...
Uh-huh. Okay, I see. Yeah, so... do as the priest says and not as the priest does. Is that what you're getting at? Anyway, yeah, no. Like, we're not out here like doing that garbage. Like, when he's too blunt. Yeah. So if he speaks the truth, don't choose him.
Recovering.
Cool.
I'm recovered. All right.
Great.
I've long separated from that side of me, but once upon a time, I was that guy who was extremely blunt, all right? And what I can tell you with confidence is that very blunt people tend to look at their bluntness as there's nothing wrong because I'm just being honest. I'm just being real. You know, I'm not, you know, they'll say, I'm not rude, I'm just real. No, you're rude. I was rude, all right?
Right. He's a recovering bad man. Now he's a good man, so he's going to give you the best advice possible because he used to be a bad man. Yeah, okay. But guys, it is great advice to follow if you're dating girls. Never, ever date a blunt girl. Never. Those women are masculine, and they're very bad. So no. We're not out here dating these girls who are... brutally honest, quote unquote. No. I don't want your brutal honesty. I want you to be polite, deferential, and cooperative. So, no. That's no. But again, Stefan is giving advice to women as though they're men. So, if a guy is blunt, it must mean he's bad. Like, no. Some of the most successful men on the planet are blunt. That doesn't make them bad.
It was rude. And bluntness, again, I'm always going to give you two sides to this.
Uh-huh.
Bluntness
He never gives two sides. He only gives the feminine side.
Be viewed in a positive light in the sense that, yes, this person is always very honest. There's no game playing here. They're going to, quote unquote, keep it real with me. And that can be refreshing, right? But the reason why this can be toxic and really is toxic is because, picture this. You're with this man. He's very blunt, all right? And let's just say in the beginning, you like it, you find it attractive, and you even celebrate it to a certain extent. And all is good until the moment comes that something happens that you're sensitive to. And now that bluntness cuts you deeper.
Yeah, exactly. So again, a guy should do exactly as you want and talk exactly as you want. So everything's fine until it's something that you're against, and then it's not fine. Hello and welcome to heliosblog. My name is Helios, here for another reaction video. If you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit the sub, hit all for notifications, and again, if you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content, patreon.com/theheliosblog. Just go there and subscribe to the solar system tier. I would really appreciate it. Again, all of your support is appreciated. Yeah, this guy, Stefan Speaks, gives terrible advice. Again, what is the implication? The guy should be doing as the girl wants. The guy should be speaking as the girl wants, etc. It's flawed. It's terrible advice. Because it means everything needs to be in a femme-centric frame. And if it's in a femme-centric frame, it means that the guy is always disfavored, right? And again, if the guy is disfavored and not in the leader of his relationship, not in the lead in his relationship, what's the point? It's not a relationship worth having then.
That bluntness is not what you needed in that moment. You needed more compassion. You needed more consideration.
You needed a nice guy. You needed a, you needed a doormat. You needed a useful idiot. You needed a butler. This is what he's saying.
But this man has been conditioned to thinking there's nothing wrong with being blunt. He has no tact whatsoever. And now, because he does not know how to watch his mouth or be mindful of his...
You see? What is the implication? He should watch his mouth around you. He should control himself around you. He should, it's so disrespectful to think of men in this way, that men should be below me, that they should follow me, they should do as I say, they should do as I... It's not giving men their respect. Men have built the society that you're in. Men have created all of the beautiful things and giving you all of the things that allow you to be so entitled. They are deserving of some respect, some deference. So treating men as though they're below you and as though they need to defer to you is very disrespectful, and teaching women to be this way is very disrespectful and actually ruinous for them. So Stefan, your advice is terrible.
Delivery in those moments, the hurtful things he says, or because of the way he says it, can now plant seeds of deeper hurt, of insecurity, of this toxic energy in the relationship.
Right, the guy should always walk on eggshells around you. The guy should always defer to you. The guy should always be trying to make you happy. The guy should always cater to you. Even in his very speech, it's wrong, guys. It's wrong. The attitude is wrong. The mindset is wrong. The way that he wants you to think about relationships, it's wrong. The way that he's teaching women is wrong. It's all totally wrong. Disaster. This dating coach is pushing women in the wrong direction. And he's doing it for his own monetary gain.
So it's very dangerous to make excuses for being blunt. And I say that from both sides. But as a...
No, you're not. You're not saying it from both sides. Women that are blunt are very, men are not attracted to that because that's very masculine, right? But to tell women that they should reject men because they're blunt is utterly ridiculous, especially coming from the framing that you're coming from, which is, the framing you're coming from is that, they should defer to how you're feeling and try to prevent annoying you in any way, right? It's like, basically the woman is the queen and you're the butler, right? Or she is the celebrity and you're the fan. That's the implication. That's what you're implying women should act like. And it's flawed. The advice is terrible because you're teaching women to act the wrong way. You're teaching them to go against what actually makes them attractive to the men that they want to be with. You're teaching them to go against being cooperative, to go against being submissive, to go against being friendly, by giving this advice. It's terrible advice. All right, let's read this article by Rolo here. One sec. The myth of the biological clock. So again, guys, Rollo Tomasi is the author of The Rational Male. Just look it up. Required reading for any man. And this is an article by him. Popular culture likes to teach women, and by association unenlightened men, that there's an innate biological clock inside each woman that slowly ticks down to a magical period where her maternal instincts at long last predispose her to wanting a child. Perhaps not so surprisingly, this coincides perfectly with the myth of women's bedroom fun peak, as well as conveniently being the age demographic just post or just prior to when most women hit the wall. The concept of a biological clock sounds very convincing on the face of it. It's biological, quote unquote. And when it comes to feminine social conventions, nothing convinces women more than their bodies, their selves. In girl world, biological reasonings are always suspicious rationales for men's bad behavior. But when applicable to women, biology is mother nature, and you don't argue with that B word. Unfortunately, and as fate would have it, the hard science of biology often tends to crash headlong into feminine social conventions. Lo and behold, many women underestimate fertility clocks' clang. Who'd have thought? It would appear that cold hard science of women's actual fertility window doesn't exactly coincide with the articles of faith that feminine primacy is teaching them. All right, so here's the quote here. A new survey finds a big disconnect when it comes to fertility. The age women think they can conceive a baby is far different from what their bodies are actually capable of. This poses an increasing problem as more women wait longer than ever to have children. What's the chance a 30-year-old can get pregnant in one try? Many thought up to 80%, while in reality it's less than 30%. For a 40-year-old, many assumed up to 40% success rate. It's actually less than 10%. And when you keep trying, the survey finds many think you can get pregnant more quickly than it actually happens. It also shows many women underestimate how successful fertility treatments are. Not only is the myth of the biological clock inaccurate in terms of when a woman should get pregnant, it's dangerously misleading in the odds of becoming pregnant. The first thing they say is, "Why didn't anybody tell me this?" says Barbara Kalura, who co-authored the survey and heads Resolve, the National Infertility Association. She laments that no federal agency pushes this issue, and neither women nor their OBGYNs tend to bring it up, though Kalura admits that fading fertility is a hard message to deliver. Let's be honest, women don't want to hear that they can't have it all, she says. We can have a great job, we can have a master's degree, we don't need to worry about childbearing because that's something that will come. And when it doesn't happen, women are really angry. I won't argue that women actually possess maternal instincts. I will argue that their understanding of when they manifest has been deliberately distorted by a feminine-centric cultural influence. If women are angry about the revelation their inability or difficulty to conceive in their post-war biological condition presents, their anger is misdirected. Rather than come down from the heady pedestal of ego-invested female empowerment psychology, they'll blame men for not being suitable fathers, or lacking a will to play by the rules and satisfy the dictates of the feminine imperative by whiling away their time in comas, basically. I just feel like it's something else they lump onto women that we have no control over, says filmmaker Monica Mingo, who's blogged about her decade-long effort to conceive. She says the real issue is society at large, which is pushing back the age people are expected to settle down and have kids. Mingo didn't even meet a husband until she was 32. You tell us your fertile years rapidly decline in your mid-20s, she says, well, if I'm not dating anyone and I want to have a family, what's that information going to do for me? Well, for one thing, it might force you to come into terms with the course you want to set for your future life with an informed choice, rather than blaming it on the so-called kidult men when you realize you want kids. I guess that's asking too much when you're in your prime party years at film school. Sorry, Monica, time's up and you didn't have control over it in your pre-war years. All the haggard ghosts of womanism are cackling heartily around the cauldron of boiling good intentions in Hades. Alright, so, there you go. Alright, let's go back to this advice here, this terrible advice.
Who's dealing with this? You gotta nip that in the bud from the beginning. We can welcome honesty, but bluntness without filter, bluntness without, not being tactful in the way you deliver the message, that should not be allowed because it
Exactly. In a female primary reality, bluntness should not be allowed because it has a chance to hurt feelings. What an utterly ridiculous concept, right? Just so ridiculous. Like, what? Again, it doesn't matter if you say 2 + 2 is 4 or 2 + 2 is damn 4, but it does in a female primary reality. So no, this is ridiculous. Again, Stefan, terrible advice. So bad. And again, just pandering. Stefan, it's not subtle what you're doing. It's just pandering.
Again, if you're gonna allow yourself to think, but I'm good with it right now, you gotta ask yourself, well, will I be good with it years later, months later, or again, at those times where the situation calls for more sensitivity. And this man has to learn how to speak to you and understand how.
This man has to learn how to speak to you. You see, guys? Who is it favoring? Who is this advice? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Anything to take accountability out of women. Anything to keep them from, having to do anything. Anything from, giving them any autonomy, responsibility, requirements, anything but that. It's all what the men have to do. It's all what the men have to say. It's all what the men are required to do. It's all what... Do you see what I'm saying, guys? It's just teaching women to be more and more picky, but not telling them to bring anything to the table. That's what Stefan's advice amounts to. Pandering, be more picky, blame men. Those are Stefan's 3 main talking points.
How certain moments call for a different kind of energy right now. All right? So it's important that that's established and discussed early on. But also, here's the thing. If you attempt to address things with that blunt person, because let's go back to me when I was younger. If someone came to me at that time and said, well, listen, you're too blunt, you have to learn how to talk to me, I'd have been like, I don't care. This is the way I am.
That's right. That's exactly how a man should be. I don't care. This is how I am. If you're not happy with how I am, go kick rocks. Like, go somewhere else. I'm not interested. That is the correct masculine energy to have. It's not, oh, I'm so sorry. How can I make it better? I feel so terrible. Oh, I can't believe I hurt you. I really apologize. How can I make it up to you? Do you see the difference? One is masculine. One is submissive and feminine. Which do you want to be? Do you want to be in charge of the relationship, or do you want to be, the butler? You're either the celebrity or you're the fan. Which do you want to be?
This goes back to take me as I am. All right? This goes back to that stubbornness, that arrogance that doesn't allow the man to change and evolve and become better.
Right. So what is the message here? The message is this. Women, choose a man who's a doormat. Choose a man who's weak, right? If the man isn't going to be changing for you, if the man isn't going to be doing things your way, if the man isn't going to be following your lead, if the man isn't going to be following your frame, then don't choose him. That's what Stefan is saying. It's just the worst possible advice. It's basically saying, women, you are men, act exactly as men do. Choose exactly along the same selection criteria. Like, if the girl isn't going... So advice that I would give a man is, if the girl isn't going along with what you want to do, well, then there's no need for the relationship to continue, right? That's what Stefan is saying. If the man isn't going to change for you, if he's not going to submit to you, if he's not going to follow you, if he's not going to do as you want, if he's not going to, follow your lead, then he's not worthy. He's toxic. Like, what is this? And this is supposed to be good advice. No, it's not good advice. It's terrible advice.
Because they see nothing wrong with the issue. So you do have to understand that in addressing this, yes, if he's unwilling to be mindful of how he talks to you, and forget just talking to you, talks to people, because...
Again, the man should be mindful of how he talks to the woman. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? Who's in charge in this frame? Is it the man or is it the woman? No, the woman needs to be mindful of how she's speaking to the man, and that is how women should be taught. But no. Stefan, who's supposedly a female dating coach, is teaching women, no, You need to have high standards. You need to tell women, you need to tell men how to treat you. You need to not accept any bad behavior. They need to defer to you. They need to know how to speak to you. They need to know how to act towards you. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not women do this in order to attract the men you want. It's increase your standards. Don't settle. Don't take any crap. Only if it's your way do you accept the relationship. Basically, Stefan is FDS, right? Like, that's the kind of advice that Stefan gives. FDS. I'm sure he just read the FDS subreddit. He's just speaking it and monetizing off of it. Utterly ridiculous, destructively, culturally destructive hogwash. Stefan, you are part of what's wrong with 2022 society. You are teaching these women wrong. You're hurting them.
Here's the thing. If he can't control his tongue or master his words with others,
if he can't control his tongue, who talks that way to people? Imagine if your girl said that to you. Control your tongue. Mind your tongue, peasant. You see what I'm saying? She's the queen and you're the servant. That's the frame. That's the frame that Stefan wants these women to enter into. And it's just so destructive. Imagine. Then in this frame, they get married, they have children. Imagine how the children see men. Imagine how a little boy grows up. If that's the frame. What does the boy grow up seeing? It's the men are losers, men are subservient, and then what happens? Well, what happens then is that boy will be unable to ever have any success in his relationships. He has to unlearn everything he's ever been taught in order to have any success with women. Stefan, it's so destructive, your advice. It's so bad. Like, it's the level of bad that this is almost unbelievable.
He will constantly slip up with you. The issue of
Constantly
being too
slip
blunt,
up.
and let's just call it what it is, being too rude, all right?
Right, he needs to be deferential to you. He needs to be polite with you. He needs to know how to mind his tongue with you. Do you see what I'm saying, guys? Like, it's so bad. And what is this frame that you're teaching these girls to have? This is not self-respect. This is literally the opposite of what women need to do in order to have a successful relationship with a man of value. The direct opposite is what you're teaching them. Like, if you swapped man with woman, all of your advice would be great. That you've swapped it around is nuts to me. And you purport to be a religious individual. You purport to have read the Bible and know what masculine and feminine dynamics are. It's just like, how could you be so clueless? I don't even, like, Stefan, I now know your strategy. You just think about what advice you would give men according to the Bible. Switch man and woman, and that's your advice that you give on your YouTube channel. And apparently this is supposed to be good for society. Go reread the Bible, Stefan. Disaster. All right. Let's go to the Reddit post. Do I give up or keep trying? So this is from Dating Over 30. I'm at a slight crossroads and could really use some perspective. I've been dating for a few years with little luck. That's a red flag, by the way, guys. If she says she's been dating for a few years with little luck, what it means is she's been sleeping with Chad, but nobody's committed to her. I finally met someone a few months ago that I really clicked with. We aligned on multiple levels and even had a great physical connection. So it's another Chad. I wanted to take things slow. I've had my fun, now I'm ready to settle down. And we did, and he was fine with that. He's divorced and wasn't jumping in again super quickly. I'm just gun shy with things. No, you're not. But now you've had your fun and ready to settle down, so I get it. It's what happens in the, post-wall, in the lady phase. In any event, things picked up and got serious and we were exclusive. Then he started backing off a bit and I asked him what was going on and he didn't think anything. We then had a long conversation last month that basically was him saying he can't handle going quickly, isn't sure he can give me what I need, but he wants to continue talking. By the way, when a girl says she's in the talking stage with a guy, you know what it means, guys? It means the horizontal mamba stage. It means they're friends with benefits. We have since talked a little and seen each other once. It was excruciating because I like him so much and he likes me, but he won't give in to his emotions. We both miss each other and this has been brutal. Should I back off and continue to hang out and see where it goes? Or do I cut my losses and leave for good? So again, guys, this is the plight of women that, you know, they go 18 to 23, 18 to 28, 18 to 32, 33, and they just sleep with Chad over and over and over and never commit and never get married and never have children when they're supposed to. This is what happens. They then end up in this situation. You know what the next phase is? Cats and boxed wine. Because she's not going to be happy with anybody. Okay, here's 292 upvotes. Don't ever wait around for someone if you can help it. Date other people and give him the space he asked for. So what's she saying? Increase your income. Maybe he does just need time to process and will come back, but they often don't. I would recommend cutting contact, but explaining to him what he's giving just doesn't work for you. Again, it's in my frame, it's in your frame, you see? Acknowledging your feelings, own them, and let him know that's why you can't just keep talking. I do think leaving things on a nicer note, where you asserted your needs without attacking him, will increase the chances that if the timing is right and you bump into each other again, the door might still be open. Fight for those who love you, but don't fight for anyone to love you. So again, everything needs to be in your frame, everything needs to be your way, everything needs to be where you're in control. That's the implication there. All right, we're going to end the video there. Again, guys, if you're new to the channel, liking the content, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. If you'd like to support me, I do have a Patreon with exclusive content. It's patreon.com/theheliosblog. Go there and subscribe to the solar system tier. Any level of support is appreciated. Again, thank you to the people that have subscribed on Patreon. I do really appreciate it, guys. And actually, starting after episode 480, which is very soon, I'm going to change the overlay a bit, and I'm going to put all of the people that have that have contributed to the channel. I'm going to put donation links in the actual video. So if you want to support me, I'll put like what's it called, one of those QR codes. All right, okay, guys. Again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for listening.